The PS5 Pro is releasing on November 7th, 2024, which is today as I write this. The shiny new box from PlayStation is finally unleashed upon the unwashed masses, and I can't figure out what this thing is supposed to be. I live in Maple Syrup Trudeau land, and this fucking thing is just over 1,000 Canadian rupees at release.
I really just wanna die.
That price point hurts more than when I slam my nuts in the microwave door. Who is this console made for? Stupid people? I'm not stupid. I'm smart. I already sold one of my son's kidneys to buy Live, Laugh, Love vinyls for my walls, and I'm pretty sure he needs at least one to keep living. Don't forget, this is from the PlayStation arm of Sony, the one with the American branch that's headquartered in California, where the streets run brown with homeless people's feces. This is the same company that threw $400 million at Concord of all projects.
I got you!
A live service game that didn't even last 2 weeks. They're shitting shit into my mouth and telling me they're shitting ice cream into my mouth. Sony is completely out of touch with what their customers actually want, and the PS5 Pro further shows that. Let's take a look at this old horror and see what could possibly justify such an obscene price point. Right off the bat, you can see it doesn't come with a disc drive, which is just more cost on top if you plan on playing your physical games on this thing, which you should. This seems like a deterrent from Sony, causing a little friction and cost between the buyer and their physical media to get more people trapped in their digital ecosystem. They want you to buy directly from the PlayStation Store, no middleman, no used games, and they definitely want you to subscribe to PS Plus, forever. Seems like this thing is capable of delivering better frame rates, supports up to 120Hz displays, which is good in my eyes. A frame rate of at least 60 is really nice for gameplay, which is what is most important. Sony and Microsoft have been promising 4K and 60 FPS for years now, which turned out to be mostly a lie. Sony even removed the 8K thing from the PS5 packaging because they knew what they did. You're still not going to get that here, maybe with upscaling, but a native 4K image at 60 FPS is no small feat, even if you spread your ass streaks nice and wide and let Sony take a sniff. It's got ray tracing, which is a nice feature to have, but I feel like we're hitting diminishing returns in the graphical fidelity department. This feature looks great, but all you're getting for this obscene price is games that run and look great on the original PS5. Maybe the extra horsepower can be used to properly render the Puerto Rican flag in Spooderman 2. The Last of Us Part 2 is also pro-enhanced, and I can't believe I'm going to miss out on that one. A couple of enhanced releases stand out, like Dragon's Dogma 2, Demon's Souls, and Ratchet & Clank. The problem is, this console is aimed at gaming enthusiasts that are willing to spend a premium to get the absolute cutting-edge stuff. The people who are hardcore enough to buy something like the PS5 Pro have already played most of these enhanced titles. I guess they can play through them again with slightly better visuals, but there's no way that's worth $1,000, or 700 in freedom bucks. If you're willing to let Sony absolutely obliterate your anus hole, go ahead and drop the cheddar. I prefer the Namekian Dragon Balls myself.
Having these balls makes me feel something that resembles joy, I think. I want to caress them.
A mid-gen refresh used to mean a more compact, more efficient, and cheaper console. This was a good way to get people who balked at the original release for whatever reason to get on board and become a paying customer, and possibly a lifelong fan. This generation, however, both Microsoft's and Sony's refreshed consoles seem completely pointless. If you don't already have a PS5, looking at the Pro's price point will probably entice you to get the original model. It came out 4 years ago. The massive shortage is long past, and there's a healthy used market as well. You can get yourself a console with a disc drive, and games to go with it for half the cost of just this thing with a little looking around. If you think that this thing justifies its price point, close your eyes and open your mouth. Sony's going to deliver a nourishing facial cream all over you.
This is cum!
You could always go for something older. As old as my grandpa's nutsack. Sony was also responsible for the highest selling console of all time, the PlayStation 2. With so many units sold, there's going to be a supply of good condition, working PS2 consoles for quite a long time. There may also be some illicit, sexy ways to run your games from the PS2's USB hole using a thumb drive, but I know you guys would never sail the high seas. There's more available in the PS2 than any normal person could ever play through. And that's not even counting the backwards compatibility with PS1 titles. A feature that Sony expects you to pay for these days, and you don't even have access to every title. There are some legendary games on the console, a testament to just how popular it was to garner so much developer attention. You got Final Fantasy X, God of War 1 and 2, like 5 Ratchet & Clank games and a bunch of older GTA titles. This console isn't so old that most of these games feel archaic. The bones of what would come in the 7th generation of gaming are all here, and they still feel great to play. The PlayStation 5 Pro's release just further confirms what we all already know. Gaming really has gone down the crapper in the last decade or so. But those great games and memories from older generations will last forever. Eventually, functioning PS1s and 2s will be harder to come by, thus driving up the price. It's a good thing that PS1 emulation has pretty much been solved at this point, and the PS2 is pretty easy to emulate these days as well. Not that I know anything about that. Goodbye. Oh, wow. Wow, I'm so glad I bought the fucking thing. I bought the thing to play this. It looks so good.